Tonight on Grady Newsource, as the United States' coronavirus death toll nears 200,000, local counties are looking at more testing options. An update on how schools across Northeast Georgia are planning to reopen their doors to students. And how you can safely vote in person in Oglethorpe County.
Northeast Georgia's only local source for TV news. From the Grady College at the University of Georgia, this is Grady Newsource.
Good evening, I'm Alex Merritt. Welcome to Grady Newsource. We begin tonight with breaking news out of Oconee County. The GBI is currently on the scene of a fatal shooting and conducting an investigation into a report by the Oconee County Police Department. Oconee County deputies were dispatched at 10:17 a.m. to Creekview Court to respond to a domestic incident. Responding deputies requested more units to respond to a woman on the scene, allegedly armed with a blowtorch and a knife. According to a Facebook post from the county sheriff's office, the woman was tased and shot by deputies after charging towards them with a knife. Despite attempted CPR by the deputies, the woman died on the scene. Police say the identities of those involved have not been released as of tonight. No deputies were injured. However, a male who was involved in the domestic incident sustained minor injuries prior to police arrival. We called the police department ourselves, and they say a report will be released as soon as tomorrow. This is still an ongoing investigation, but we'll continue to bring you more updates as more information is released from the sheriff's office. And now, more news regarding the coronavirus. With the United States approaching 200,000 coronavirus deaths, Northeast Georgia tries to keep up with the demand for testing. Northeast Georgia experienced 1,667 new cases in the last 2 weeks, with over 1,000 of those coming from Athens-Clarke County, the most out of any county in Georgia over that span. Grady Newsource reporter Jax Deegan has more on a new online scheduling option for free coronavirus testing.
One of 3 places in Northeast Georgia where you can schedule a free coronavirus test. This is a new initiative by the Northeast Public Health Department, trying to cut down on some of those phone wait times. That's what Sarah Peck, the department's public information officer, told me. She wants to cut down on those wait times and allow people to schedule online. So you can do that at the link below. 3 different locations. This one, which is the Winterville location, Athens, and Loganville as well.
Despite the rising number of cases in Northeast Georgia communities, the 6 county school systems experienced a decrease in active coronavirus cases. All 6 schools either held steady or decreased in their active number of coronavirus cases, with Jackson County dropping from 24 to 8 active cases. Oglethorpe County holds the least number of active cases. Barrow County schools will resume in-person classes 5 days a week, starting today. This replaces the hybrid system where students who chose the in-person option for classes were divided into 2 cohorts, while Wednesdays were reserved for cleaning. Grady Newsource reporter Melissa Gay has the story.
Last Tuesday, the Barrow County School System announced they would resume in-person learning full-time starting today. Some, like Laura Walston Morris, have been looking forward to this announcement all semester. Morris, whose youngest daughter attends Appalachia High School, started the page, "Barrow County Parents Demand In-Person Learning," after the school system announced they would go online.
We have this faith over fear kind of motto that, we can't escape a virus.
As a student mentor, she believes in-person learning is especially important for kids in troubled or neglected homes. Meanwhile, Lacey Marcus, whose daughter attends Russell Middle School, believes the school system is starting classes in person full-time too soon without taking the proper safety precautions.
My child has asthma, and I don't feel as if they're doing everything that they can to make sure that my kid is safe to go back to school.
Their safety measures include mandatory masks, enhanced cleaning measures, physical distancing, and increased hand washing and use of hand sanitizer. During the battle between in-person and hybrid learning, Mark McLean, a member of the Statham PTO and a kindergarten teacher at Statham Elementary School, said teachers are often caught in the middle.
When parents were kind of upset with the teachers, I think they tend to forget that we were humans and we have families that we have to, we're going through the same thing that the parents are frustrated about also.
He felt excited about classes resuming instruction in person full-time, since he said digital learning was double the work for half the effect. University of Georgia public health professor Andreas Handel said that school districts should make the choice about resuming full-time instruction based on their individual circumstances. In general, the less they are going around the community, the safer it is to resume classes full-time in person. Melissa Gah, Grady Newsource.
With the date for the U.S. general election now than 7 weeks away, polling stations are prepping for in-person voting. Grady Newsource reporter Jillian Tracy tells us how one county plans to try and keep voters safe at the polls.
While voters may still be trying to decide who to cast their ballot for, election officials are working to make sure that ballots are cast safely amid the COVID-19 pandemic. Georgia's Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger is encouraging Georgians to vote from home with a mail-in absentee ballot. However, voting stations in Georgia will still be open for those who are unable to vote by mail. Oglethorpe Elections Supervisor Steve McCannon says the county is letting voters choose their preferred method, but that there will be cleaning measures in place for in-person early voting.
So we'll have more rooms that we can social distance in this new voting area. We sanitize the voting machines quite often, and we also sanitize stylus after each use.
This year, Oglethorpe County has moved its early voting location to 41 Fairground Road, behind Oglethorpe County Elementary School. This new location allows room for 3 additional voting machines, helping to cut down on wait time. The Fairground Road location is only open for early voting, which starts on October 12th. Residents who are planning to vote on the November 3rd election date should go to their local voting precinct to cast their ballot. McCannon said masks will not be required for voters in Oglethorpe, but that polling workers and election officials would be masked for the majority of the voting. McCannon said voting machines will be wiped down at least once every hour with an alcohol-based solution recommended by the Georgia Secretary of State's office. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention recommends that both polling workers and voters use masks for additional protection. Those who are voting in person should try to avoid peak voting hours and take advantage of early voting if possible. The CDC also urges voters to wash their hands both before and after visiting a polling station, but that election officials should take care of sanitizing all voting equipment. Jillian Tracy, Grady Newsource.
The Athens-Clarke County Board of Elections will begin logic and accuracy testing for voting equipment to ensure that all machines run properly. Grady Newsource reporter Kelsey Miller explains how this will be done starting tomorrow.
In preparation for every election, the state of Georgia requires the logic and accuracy testing of all voting equipment. For Athens-Clarke County, or ACC, this testing starts on Tuesday, September 22nd at the Facilities and Landscape Management Building. ACC Board of Elections Assistant Lisa McGlon is one of the people who will conduct the tests.
So every time there's an election, there's a testing process we go through, and then we load the election data onto each machine. It usually takes us about a week to process all of the machines that are used.
McGlon says the machines include 284 ballot marking devices, 135 poll taps, and 33 precinct scanners. McGlon says the precinct scanners are where you actually cast your vote by depositing a paper ballot inside of it where it is immediately scanned. University of Georgia political science professor Dr. Trey Hood explained the testing of the scanners.
The logic and accuracy tests are making sure that, especially the ballot tabulator, reading the QR codes is doing so accurately, and that the machines are all calibrated for that.
If there are any machines with issues, Dr. Hood also explained what could happen.
Well, if there's an issue with a particular machine in the accuracy and certification process, it's going to be pulled before the election and not used, or if it can be repaired before the election, it'll get repaired and recertified after testing.
After each machine is confirmed accurate, McGlon says the equipment is sealed and stored before it is delivered to precincts on November 2nd, the day before Election Day. The public is invited to view the testing by appointment at the Facilities and Landscape Management Building at 2555 Lexington Road in Athens, Georgia. Kelsey Miller, Grady Newsource.
You can schedule an appointment online at the Athens-Clarke County government's website or by calling the Board of Elections number at 706-613-3150. In the wake of a summer marked by protests calling to defund the police, the city of Houston may do just the opposite. After disbanding their police department for financial reasons nearly a decade ago, the city of Houston is beginning to gather information on what it will take to bring back city police as they prepare for population growth. Mayor Shannon Sell is looking for input from citizens as the city considers adopting an impact fee that could fund infrastructure for police department. The next working council session will be held tonight at 7 p.m. in the City Hall Council Room. The impact fee ordinance will be on the agenda. Coming up, you may have to pump the brakes while driving in Oconee County in the coming months. How the city of Watkinsville is planning to make intersections safer. Next.
Okay, so we drowned the fire, stirred it, drowned it again, and now just feel if it's cold.
Yeah.
Cool.
Smokey just gave me a bear hug.
I know. I already posted it.
Take a look under your bed. Find stuff under there? What about jobs? No? Now try your closet. Still no jobs? Just more stuff? Well, you really have both. See, stuff is defined as household articles considered as a group. Sometimes this stuff is no longer needed. Wait, no longer needed? That can't be right. Because remember those jobs you were looking for? Those are really needed, and they're the stuff inside your stuff. Our job is to unlock those jobs, and it starts when you donate your stuff to your local Goodwill. Here's how we do it. When you donate to Goodwill, we sell your stuff to provide job training for people right here in your community. So just by teaming up with Goodwill, you help create jobs. And isn't that worth parting with the leftover keytar from your 80s cover band? Goodwill. Donate stuff, create jobs.
Maybe you can make retirement happen. After all, you made this vacation happen.
Double points with every purchase?
Cleverly merging promotions.
Love it.
Cross-referencing travel sites. And booking all your flights with those...
Vouchers. I got us bumped.
They were like, oh. But now they're like... Aloha. You aced this vacation. Now get the tips you need to get on track at aceyourretirement.org.
Ever since Zoom became the new normal for online learning, some people have taken it upon themselves to change their virtual background. What happens when a teacher uses this to express their social and political views? Grady Newsource reporter Chelsea Perry talks with members of the Athens community to find out their take.
Having class in the middle of a pandemic is all about getting Zoom to cooperate. But what about having class in the midst of large social and political movements? With large social and political movements on the rise, what's okay for a teacher to say in a classroom environment?
Also put up different kinds of historical figures of color that the students might recognize but didn't think of them as historical figures. So for example, like Beyonce.
Barnett regularly decorated his classroom with Black iconic figures before the coronavirus hit.
I wanted to create an environment that was especially welcoming and acknowledged the presence of the students of color in my classroom.
In Gwinnett County, a teacher at Alton C. Cruz Middle School came under fire for having a Black Lives Matter poster for her Zoom background. This sparked a debate on whether or not teachers should be allowed to express themselves socially and politically in the classroom.
Especially as a social studies teacher, it's more important than ever that I take a stand, because in my opinion, this isn't a matter of politics, this is a matter of human rights.
Todd Dow is a parent in the Athens-Clarke County School District. His son, Todd Jr., goes to Athens-Clarke High School. While Dow believes that teachers are not necessarily in the classroom to give their personal opinions, he does not believe that the Gwinnett County incident would have distracted his son.
For him personally, I don't think it would be an issue. Could it possibly be an issue for somebody else? Yeah, if you're on the fence, you're still trying to understand this, you're still trying to wrap your head around it, you're still trying to see where you stand on it, then yeah, it might be a distraction.
Anything I can do to make them feel safe and welcome in my learning environment is just going to make them better in the end, going to make their scores better, going to make them learn better. Like, why would I not do everything I can to make that happen?
At the end of the day, it's all about the kids. Chelsea Perry, Grady Newsource.
Some residents in Jackson County have been receiving a lot of phone calls they don't necessarily want to be receiving. Grady Newsource reporter Cassidy Hannon explains how scam calls have become a growing issue in Jackson County.
Last month, Beverly Morton received a phone call from a stranger and let it go to voicemail. Then they called back 13 more times in the span of 4 hours. To this day, she and other Jackson County residents are receiving scam calls at an increasing rate. Jackson County Sheriff Janice Mangum has been posting the scams on her Facebook page as they happen. The latest scams include a call from someone posing as a Gwinnett County sergeant threatening arrest for missed jury duty, a fraudulent secret shopper check in the mail, and fake Social Security calls. Morton, who was targeted by a caller posing as a Microsoft employee trying to fix a problem with her IP address, filed a report with the FCC. But she didn't stop there. she reached out to Congressman Doug Collins, who told her about House Bill 3375, the Stopping Bad Robocalls Act. This bipartisan bill would require the FCC to revise its rules regarding robocalls to further protect consumers and ensure they are not receiving these calls without consent. It passed in the House of Representatives on July 24, 2019, and was received in the Senate on July 25th. There have been no updates on this bill since then. And as for Beverly Morton, she received another scam call just days ago and says she wishes the Senate would just hop on it. Here's what you can do if you're receiving scam calls. Go online to consumercomplaints.fcc.gov and select the phone icon under File a Complaint. From there, you can determine which description best fits the calls you are receiving. Finally, click the link to the complaint form at the bottom of the page and fill in your information. For Grady Newsource, I'm Cassidy Hannon.
If you are a resident in Jackson County and have received any calls like this, visit consumercomplaints.fcc.gov to make sure your voice is heard.
I'm Nathan Moore, and I'm out here enjoying this wonderful, cool fall weather we've got early on this week. But how much longer will it stick around? I'll be back in studio after the break to explain.
Hi, I'm Peter. And there's nothing I love more than sharing vegetables with my friends. Come on in! Help yourself to anything. That's why we give our food the utmost respect it deserves. Did you know there are simple steps we can all take to help save food? You can cook it, store it, even share it. Just don't waste it. Because when it comes to food, better ache than never. To learn more, visit SaveTheFood.com.
You think getting dumped by text is harsh? Try getting dumped by a tennis ball. My ex-owner drove me out to the woods, yelled fetch, and by the time I brought the ball back, he was gone. Yeah, I was pissed. But the folks at the shelter helped me let go of my anger. I learned coping skills, like taking it to the hole. Boom! Now I'm ready to fetch again. But how about I throw and you run and get it?
Attention travelers, next Tuesday a major power outage will cause complete chaos throughout the city. Food, water, and phone service will be in short supply. There will likely be panic citywide. Stand clear of the closing doors, please.
Disasters don't plan ahead. You can. Talk to your loved ones about how you're going to be ready in an emergency. Don't wait. Communicate.
Everybody has a dream. Mine was to see the ocean. And with a little help, I made it.
And now, the weather.
Good evening, I'm Nathan Moore with your Grady Newsource weather. Tonight we're going to take a look at what has been a historic hurricane season so far through the summer of 2020. Also take a look at these new fall temperatures we're experiencing this week. How long they'll stick around, I'm not so sure. Lastly, we'll give you a 5-day forecast to get you ready for the rest of the week. But first, our story with some national implications here. Hurricane season been one of the wildest ones since 2005. In fact, this is the first year since 2005 that the National Hurricane Center has actually run out of alphabetical names to give to their new hurricanes. As you can see here, well over 20 storms have been codified by the center this season, but that means that they've had to resort to using Greek alphabet names, alpha and beta having already been described by the center. Now, again, this is the first time they've had to do this since 2005, which you'll remember as the hurricane season that brought us Hurricane Katrina. But moving on to some more local weather news. Again, we've had a lot of nice, cool weather over the weekend as well as today. Expect some low temperatures overnight tonight, as low as 50 in Chattanooga, 45 in Blairsville, Athens, Gainesville, around 50. Now, the National Weather Service, their station based out of Atlanta, actually reported on Sunday that that was the first day since June 17th that Athens, Gainesville, Atlanta, as well as Macon have experienced temperatures below 60. But how long will these cooler temperatures stick around? We look into our daily planner for tomorrow. 9 a.m. expect those cool temperatures. The wind should die down a little bit, down to 5 to 10 miles per hour. But you'll see the temperatures creep back up around towards 70 before cooling off again at night. But looking ahead toward the 5-day forecast is where we'll see these temperatures really start to rise, as well as some potential thunderstorms later on in the week. My name is Nathan Moore. This has been the Grady Newsource weather.
Will Georgia football have new uniforms this 2020 season? That's coming up next on your Grady Newsource Sports.
We'd do anything for kids. Yet 1 in 6 children in the U.S. struggle with hunger. Help end childhood hunger near you. Learn how at feedingamerica.org.
Start a story. Adopt at theshelterpetproject.org.
I love
Can we get strawberries? Okay.
And now, sports.
Georgia football teased new uniforms last week that combine the old with the new. One features a black jersey with a spiked dog collar around the neck. The other version is a white jersey with a red pant. 2020 has been anything short of surprises, and the black jerseys may be the twist Georgia fans are looking for. The last time we have seen black jerseys is in 2016, Kirby Smart's the head coach at Georgia's first season. The white jersey and red pants combo is reminiscent of the uniforms last seen in 1980, the last time Georgia won the national championship. This year marks the 40th anniversary of its 1980 championship team, and what better way to celebrate than with these throwback threads. While the department didn't confirm whether or not these would be the official uniforms of the 2020 season, that didn't stop fans' excitement for them. The new gear was mostly popular among fans and alumni, and especially former players. Angela Kirkpatrick, an on-campus recruiter for Georgia football, said, "Look good, feel good, play good." Former player and New York Jets wide receiver Lawrence Cager said, "So now we want to get black jerseys when I leave." Georgia kicks off its season on September 26th against Arkansas. The first home game will be on October 3rd against Auburn, the team Georgia first wore the black jerseys against in 2007 and won with a 25-point lead, 45-20. That's all for your Grady Sports. I'm Danielle Harvey.
Can I tell you a cat joke? Just kidding. Why did the girl ask the mushroom to dance? Because he was a fun guy. What do you call a pig that knows karate? Pork chop. So, how does a tissue dance? Put a little boogie on it.
Hamilton was adopted from a rescue in 2008. He really likes to be around people. And as soon as I start to make my breakfast, Hamilton is right there. I get out my mat and I'm doing a downward dog and he's underneath. He's quite the pug about town. He gets invited to a lot of parties. He knows he's a pretty big deal. I mean, look at this little face. How could you not love him?
If your child attends public school in Athens-Clarke County, your family is eligible to receive a pandemic food stamp card. Here's how a local parent is challenging the community to use those funds to support the local farmers market.
Every student that attends public school in the Clarke County School District has one thing in common. Their families are all eligible for PEBT. PEBT stands for Pandemic Electronic Benefit Transfer. This program was created to help families whose children receive free and reduced lunch.
We should all be applying for these PEBT benefits, everyone who qualifies, and then we should spend them, ideally spend them with local merchants, bringing money back into our communities.
That was the beginning of the Jen Thompson Challenge at the Athens Farmers Market.
For the past 10 years, the market has allowed for people to double their food stamp card benefits in order to purchase produce. Thompson is encouraging families to use their PEBT card benefits at the market, get those funds doubled, purchase produce, and then donate the original amount swiped back to the farmers market.
And in that way, you've tripled your impact. You've supported the stability of the farmers market itself and local farmers and businesses in your community.
Kelsey Coffey, Grady Newsource.
Thank you for watching Grady Newsource. This is Alex Merritt, and have a good night.
Grady Newsource is a student production of the Grady College of Journalism and Mass Communication at the University of Georgia, which is solely responsible for its contents. Views expressed do not represent those of the administration nor the Board of Regents at the University System of Georgia.
Hello. Hi. I'm from Blue Hood Stone Barns. We brought a meal for you, and I'm here to serve it to you.
Okay, great. Come in.
Zucchini carbonara, made from zucchini that was harvested earlier this morning. Again?
Hey, Dan Barber.
You have room for a little bit more?
Come on in.
Brochettes with sausage. So when we made that zucchini carbonara, they're the end pieces of the zucchini, and they're the cores that we cut away. Not to mention zucchini flour. Usually those get thrown out. We use them to create an entire second dish. Does that,
Again? I'm here to bring you your third course. It's the vines from your zucchini.
We'll have a little zucchini stem pasta. A different experience of zucchini. When we start to think differently about our food, we can get a lot more out of it.
This is delicious.
What do you think we can make out of this? 40% of food in America is never eaten. Cook it, store it, share it. Visit SaveTheFood.com.
1 in 6 seniors faces the threat of hunger, and millions more live in isolation.
America, let's do lunch.
Drop off a hot meal and say a quick hello. Volunteer for Meals on Wheels by donating your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org.
Laughing too hard at one of your colleagues' jokes at the office party?
He's not even funny. Warning sign. Those drinks are probably going to your head. Probably okay isn't okay when it comes to drinking and driving.
They call me Maxie, but I prefer tripod. I was your above-average four-legged homie, and then wham, bam, minivan. Some people pity me. Now that's lame. I still run, fetch, and swim. And the ladies love me. I'm the ultimate wingman. Just don't ask me to high five.